this camera. In fact, I'm shooting on it right now and I absolutely love it because it's so tiny and it's so portable. So yeah, I mean, like I was saying, I love it because I can literally take it everywhere with me. It's so tiny and it produces a pretty great image provided you're using a good amount of natural light or artificial light. You even put it on the fridge, like that. Magnetize it and just keep it there using the right accessories. I can put it inside the fridge, put out whatever I want, get the shot that I need, and it's phenomenal. I can toss it in a bag. In fact, I've had this camera for a couple of weeks now. Wait, no, almost a month now. I picked it up while I was on board and then I got off the ship and I'm home and I've been using it. And I've been a GoPro user for a while. I've used the Hero 7, the Hero 8. I have the GoPro Max, which is a fantastic camera. And I've been using this now and it's pretty great. In fact, I'm gonna actually go ahead and say this is my main camera. I mean, I primarily shoot with the GoPro. I also use my iPhone, but for stuff like this, for vlogging, for content on the go, I prefer the GoPro because it's a lot safer and it doesn't cost a lakh. And I love this camera on the overall, and I think it's a beautiful content creation camera for absolutely anybody out there. I'm gonna list the specs right here on the top for you guys so that you can see what I think is really amazing about this camera, and I'm gonna talk about each spec, write it down for you and explain it to you and why I think it's amazing. But before that, let's get into some amazing B-roll and let me show you what this camera can actually do out in the field. Hold up. I know a lot of you are concerned about whether the Hero 9 can actually shoot cinematic footage and get like nice B-roll and slow motion clips out of this camera. Don't worry, I got you guys covered. Check it out. We're gonna test out the GoPro Hyperlapse feature. What I absolutely love is the ability to come back into real time and get audio. This is an amazing feature that they've added in Time Warp. If you don't understand what Time Warp is, it's ideally a hyperlapse. GoPro likes to use really cool words. Let's get back into it. I hope you enjoyed that. So this is actually where I live, and I thought I'd give you a little bit of a preview by also taking a time warp around the area. So basically time warp is fantastic. I use it for my time-lapse at sea videos that I have on the internet, and I absolutely love using this feature. I think it's phenomenal. I'm currently shooting on time warp in using real-time mode, which is phenomenal because there's now audio in it, and overall I think this is a fantastic addition. I also want to talk about digital lenses because the GoPro has various digital lenses. We're currently shooting in super view, which is this super ultra wide view. This is the wide lens, which I absolutely love shooting for all kinds of action. I'll be making a video on my settings, but I just want to give you a preview of what the digital lenses are like. Finally, this is the narrowest lens. It actually imitates a real camera, like an actual field of view without that fisheye and curvature. Now, another important feature about this GoPro is the ability to shoot in 5K, which is what we're shooting in now. Now, we already know the GoPro suffers a lot in low light, but on the overall, getting the higher resolution does give you a lot of flexibility in post. Do we really need to shoot in 5K? No, most of your computers are not going to be able to edit it. My iPad can, but it's still a pain. The entire workflow is insane. Okay, I have to admit, I think it's phenomenal that this little camera could give you that kind of footage. I mean, if you think about it, the biggest mirrorless cameras cannot produce the dynamic range that this little guy does, and this is all software based. Let me run down the features for you really quick. Let me give you a breakdown about why I think this camera is phenomenal. The first feature that I want to talk about is this little guy, the front-facing screen that the GoPro 9 has. Now, GoPros have not had front-facing screens ever, and the DJI Osmo Action has had it for the longest time, and the Insta360 as well, it has it. And I think it's a phenomenal feature to have on any action camera. See, the main reason why a lot of people who are not into action sports that would actually buy a GoPro is because people would buy it for vlogging. As a vlogger, it's really important to have this little screen in front of you where you can see that you framed up your shot perfectly. Because you basically want a camera that you can pull out of your pocket and have it ready to go. I'm sitting right here in my car and I can actually see myself on this tiny little camera with this tiny little screen. I have an inbuilt microphone and I can just vlog. And front-facing screen is an absolute game changer. Back to the studio. And if you lose the movement, you lose the shot. And having a front-facing screen while you're shooting in live preview is phenomenal. The next thing that I want to talk about is the body of the GoPro Hero 9. As you can see, the Hero 9 is a lot chunkier than any of the other GoPros that have ever come out in the past 3 or 4 years. It keeps the same design as the rest of the GoPros in the lineup. As a matter of fact, it has a slightly larger screen at the back and a screen on the front. Other than that, everything else is more or less the same. And it keeps the same mounting mechanism that the other GoPros have had in the past, which has been pretty great because you can use most of your previously owned accessories with this GoPro, which actually makes it pretty fantastic to use. Now, bigger the size normally means bigger the battery. And with the GoPro Hero 9, this is the case. The battery is a little bit bigger. But does it make that much of a difference? No, not so much. See, the GoPro does have 2 screens to power on, and if you're going to use it in that mode, and when you shoot like that, you get about 20 minutes more shooting time from my experience when I'm using with respect to the GoPro 8 and the GoPro 9. But the very fact that GoPro's battery life has not diminished after adding 2 screens running at full power at all times, I think it's pretty phenomenal. Now, overall, the Hero 9 shoots in 5K, as I was telling you before, but technically most of you won't even be able to use 5K because it's extremely hard to edit. Now, GoPro does have an app that is available on Android and iOS, and a lot of phones in the market, including my iPhone, doesn't support 5K. So when you transfer the footage wirelessly from your GoPro to your app, it's going to downsize it to 4K and then transfer it to your Photos app. At least that's what it does on iOS. Most of the time, the footage that you're going to get out of it is 4K. You can transfer out 5K footage by pulling out the memory card, connecting it to your computer, and manually transferring it without doing the wireless airdrop. But there's an issue even then. The issue with 5K is that most computers aren't good enough to handle it. But the 4K coming out of this is amazing. And if by any chance one of you guys are equipped with a computer, something that's extremely powerful, definitely use the 5K because the flexibility that you get out of it is amazing. But the fact that you have 5K basically means you have more pixels on the same size of sensor. And that basically means the photos that come out of the GoPro 9 are going to be a little bit better than what come out of the GoPro 8. Now, it's going to be a little hard to distinguish in general, but when you put both the cameras aside next to each other and you actually shoot on them, or if you've owned a Hero 8 and you go to the Hero 9, you will see a difference, especially while you're editing in post. Now, that being said, if you're somebody who wants photographs straight out of camera, the GoPro produces great colors. They've been working on their color science generation after generation. I'm going to put up a couple of sample photos here. Why don't you guys tell me what you guys think? Now, another feature that I absolutely love on this camera is time warp. Now, time warp has a bunch of settings that you can actually mess around with. You have time lapse, you have time warp, and you have night lapse. Now, the 3 of them individually are completely different. Time lapse is basically when you keep your camera down stationary and you can either shoot it in photo mode and go and edit it in post, or you can shoot it in video mode and you get a really nice time lapse like you do even on your smartphones. Time warp is ideally a hyperlapse, which is what I explained earlier while showing you what it can do. And how it's different is now you have something known as horizon leveling on this camera, which you used to have on the camera that I'm currently shooting on, which is GoPro Max. It basically keeps your horizon level. So basically, if you're going to shoot in a particular direction and you move your camera up to 45 degrees at an angle and your horizon is not leveled like this, what the camera is basically going to do is, with the help of software, it's going to keep your horizon level and get you the most stable footage ever. And that's actually a game changer. Whereas night lapse, as the name suggests, is basically shooting time lapses at night, and you can get some fantastic sunrise and sunset shots with this. I think it's a phenomenal feature. Another major feature of the GoPro 9 is basically the ability to set up schedule capture. Schedule capture is basically where you can set a time and a date, and the GoPro will actually automatically turn on and start filming. For instance, if you're out and you want to shoot a time lapse in the morning and you don't want to wake up for it, you set up schedule capture on your camera, put the camera in position at the right location where you want to shoot. In the morning when you wake up, the camera would have already shot the entire time lapse as you planned it to shoot, and I've used it a couple of times. In fact, I'm going to end this video with a time lapse that I shot using schedule capture, and I think the feature is phenomenal. The GoPro has basically been promising a vlogging camera for a very long time. On the overall, GoPros are, according to me, one of the best vlogging cameras because of how small they are, and they naturally come with a wide fisheye view lens, which I think is a great feature. Now, GoPros have evolved as vlogging cameras. With the Hero 8, GoPro basically promised us an entire setup with a vlogging screen and a microphone and a media mod which connects all of these things. Now I have checked out these items in the past and I think they're okay. The media mod feels really cheap, I mean, compared to any other GoPro accessory that you would actually buy. The vlogging light is phenomenal and I use it for a lot of videos in general, even if I'm not using the GoPro, because it's so tiny and it makes it really handy to keep in your backpack. Overall, I don't think you need to buy all the mods if you have the Hero 9. Even though they're listed as the top accessories on GoPro's website, don't buy the display mod because that's a complete waste of your money. It's going to cost you anywhere around 6,000 to 7,000 rupees in India to get that, and it's insanely expensive. The screen on the GoPro 9 is fantastic and it will let you get the job done. If you want to connect an external microphone to your GoPro, the media mod is pretty essential because it comes with 2 cold shoe mounts, and I think that's what you really need. Now the Hero 9 is excessively rugged. I mean, I've dropped it into a coffee cup, I've poured hot coffee on it, I've tossed it in my microwave and heated it up, I've even thrown it in my fridge. I've carried it for a bunch of runs, and that's exactly why I feel like this camera can do it all. Overall, I'm extremely happy with how well built this is, and the lens on the front is removable now, which is pretty amazing. I can 100% endorse that this camera is going to do the job for you. Now the GoPro Hero 9 is not perfect. Trust me, it has its issues. The audio is terrible, so audio is definitely a downside. Other than that, GoPro has marketed this camera as a moddable camera with basically removable lenses. They have another lens that they've given out, which is basically the Max lens. You have to keep in mind that the Max lens is basically like one of the lenses on the GoPro Max. And if you have a GoPro Max, you don't want to buy that lens. It'll give you a slightly higher resolution, which is 2.7K when you attach the Max lens to this camera. Other than that, there's only one lens in the entire GoPro ecosystem, and it's insanely expensive. It's $99 on the GoPro website, which you're looking at least 7,000+ rupees in India. That's if they sell it at $99 in India, and that's insanely expensive to add on to already a $400+ camera. That would be my second con for the GoPro. The third con would be the overall price value of this camera. I mean, it comes into the territory of compact cameras. There are tons of compact cameras from Canon and Sony that you can actually get for a similar price. As a matter of fact, you can get a mirrorless camera with something like the Canon M50. I'm going to leave a link in the description, around the same price as the GoPro Hero 9. So it comes down to a choice. I mean, are you looking for something that's more portable? And this is the way that you're going to go. If you're looking for a small mirrorless camera but you still want that larger sensor, then you probably go for something better than the GoPro Hero 9. Other than that, I don't see too many cons. There are a few accessories that become unusable, like if you had a GoPro Hero 8 and you're looking at upgrading, then on that front, if you're invested in a media mod for the GoPro Hero 8, that will not work with this. The Hero 9 has its own media mod. I don't like what GoPro did there. And the final con that I'm going to list out for the GoPro is basically the fact that GoPro India has not been selling the GoPros for the longest time. It's been out of stock ever since the GoPro 9 release. You can get it on Amazon, but if you're subscribed to the GoPro subscription bundle, which GoPro is offering, where they give you a certain discount on accessories as well as your cameras, and they also give you a bundle on GoPro's website, you're not going to get any of those perks, so you're going to end up paying a higher price if you buy it from Amazon India. I also think this camera is perfect for mobile YouTubers. Like I said, I use a GoPro to shoot 90% of my content on this channel, and I use a cell phone, that's my iPhone, to shoot the remaining 10%. If you're like me and you just want to shoot with a small camera that's in your pocket, and you're looking for a B cam or you're looking for an A cam, and you're a mobile YouTuber who doesn't want to carry around a bunch of lenses with them, this is the camera for you. Thank you for watching another episode of Essential Tech. I hope you enjoyed the GoPro 9 review. I'm going to continue to use this camera and create more content on this channel. If you want to know more about the camera, hit me up in the comment section. I'm going to see you in the next one. Thanks.